In the previous session, I introduced the GloBUNTU think plus do equal be concept to you. I literally explained to you the three pillars of the concept, which are think, do, and be. And I explained that the first pillar, the think, has to do with your thoughts, because our thoughts shape our reality. So it was basically about how important it is for you to become conscious of your thoughts, how to redefine them, reshape them, and rechannel them to take you to where you want to be or to get what you want to have. And that process requires a lot of learning and unlearning. It requires a lot of visualization, clearly visualizing your goal. And when you have that in place, the next pillar is the do, is where you take action. You take action towards realizing that goal that you visualize in pillar one. And that requires a lot of affirmation and a lot of letting go. You got to let go quite a lot of things that you have learned, and some of the habits and some of the actions that you've been taking in the past, so that you can focus on the new thoughts that you have redefined in order to get to where you want to be. And the third pillar is the be, is becoming or getting what it is that you set out to get. It is the harvest. It is that part that that calls for celebration and gratitude. Okay, if you didn't watch that video, please make sure to go back there and listen to that video, watch that video, so you can best understand this session. Coming back to this session, this one is very much about some of the habits and some of the baggage that you need to let go in order for you to embrace and fully benefit from the GloBUNTU think plus do equal be transformational concept. Okay, you ready for that? Let's go. As human beings, we carry a lot of baggage, some of which is obsolete, some of which we no longer need, some of which is irrelevant, some of which does not even belong to us, but we carry it as we move along in life. So the GloBUNTU transformational concept and this masterclass is here to help you shed off, lay off, let go some of those baggage and some of those habits that are really keeping us down, so we can quick jump into a fabulous game-changing 2020. You ready? Great. Here are the 6 baggages that you may consider letting go as we continue this journey. Number 1, and the most important, is self-doubt. Doubting in yourself, in your abilities, in your capabilities, in your wishes, or even doubting in your personality, your identity. I mean, this is so huge. If you try to let go the element of doubt that you have when it comes to your personality, when it comes to your goals, when it comes to getting what you want, or really standing up for yourself, you may get the best out of this class. Okay, so one of the things that you may consider letting go is self-doubt. Quit doubting in yourself. You have what it takes to get started now, and the rest follows as you go. You know that saying that says practice makes perfect. If you never quit doubting and start taking action, you may never really acquire the practice that will allow you to become perfect. So consider letting go self-doubt and start believing in yourself. Cultivate belief, cultivate assertiveness, trust in yourself. This will really help you let go that bad habit or that baggage of doubting in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, no one will. And 2020 is the perfect year to really fully believe in yourself and show the world around you how much you believe in yourself, so they start believing in you as well. Baggage number 2 that you may consider letting go on this journey is toxic relationships. Yes, we all need relationships in life. And when I say toxic relationships, I am referring to 2 layers of relationships. Quite often when we talk about relationship, we think about our relationship to other people, external relationships, not the relationship to ourselves. What I want us to really focus on is the toxic relationship to ourselves. It is that toxic relationship that allowed us to let other people's judgment of us or other people's opinion of us let us down or become our reality. It is that toxic relationship that keeps us away from jump-starting whatever we want to do. It is that toxic relationship that fills us with fear and all the other emotions that limit us, that keep us away from actually unleashing our next best masterpiece. Letting go of the toxic relationship that we have with ourselves can really be helpful on this journey. and it's something that I would advise you to consider letting go. The second area of the toxic relationships that I wish for you to consider to let go is your relationship with people. It has to do with whether your relationship to your partner or your husband, your relationship to your children, family, colleagues at work, business partner or associate, clients, to your landlord, the environment that you're living in, your relationship to your apartment, possessions that you have acquired along the line that are occupying space in your wardrobe, living room, in your kitchen, in your bedroom, in your suitcases that you no longer need. They all constitute this toxic relationship that we're talking about. Consider detoxing the relationships and letting people go. After working on this concept for so many years, I have come to consider life as the highway that leads to my biggest masterpiece, to the highest version of me, the best version of me every way. And on this highway, there are many crossroads. And at every crossroad, I have to choose the direction that I have to take. And when I choose a direction, I make myself ready to let people go in the other directions. Let people go, let events go, let situations go, let feelings go. Consider life to be like an elevator that takes you to the highest floor, the tallest level of the building that is called life. And at every level, you have to stop and let people out. Stop at level floor 1, let people out. Stop at floor 2, let people out. Because your relationship with them is complete. It completes at floor 1. Some complete at floor 2. Some complete at floor 3. And you may have to do the last floor all by yourself. But remember one thing, even if you do the last floor by yourself, up on that floor, you'll meet like-minded people and you will create new friendships. You'll create new relationships. So what I'm trying to say to you is sometimes relationships to material, relationships to people, relationships to situations, events, and circumstances are complete. And when they're complete, you let them go so you can manifest the next best version of you. So again, consider letting go some of the toxic relationships that may be keeping you down or that may have the potential to slow you down in 2020. Number 3 of the baggage that you may consider to let go is limiting environment. Oh my goodness, I can sing a song on this. If you have been following this video, you know that I lived in homestay for 20 years and that I had to let go everything, including my children. That's the most valuable treasure that I have, my 2 kids. I had to even let them go in order to move out of Austria because it was becoming such a limiting environment that I could not do what I wanted to do. I could not be who I wanted. The environment had already created shoes for me, which had become so small, so tight, that I was struggling every day to fit my big feet into those tiny shoes and failing at all points, getting disappointed and becoming bitter. And let me tell you, had I not let go of that limiting environment in Austria, I wouldn't have written and published 18 books in less than 3.5 years. I wouldn't have created GloBUNTU books, and I wouldn't be doing these videos for you. I would not have the GloBUNTU concept. I would still be struggling with topics like integration, migration, discrimination, and all of those things that were in the shoes and the suitcase that were packed for me in Austria. When I left that space, I liberated myself and set my creative spirits free and see what happened. When I look at my vision board of 2014, I said to myself that I was going to be writing 1 book every year. And today, in 2019, barely 5 years thereafter, I have written and published altogether 21 books. This is how powerful it is when you free yourself from limiting environment. So now what are limiting environments? It could be the apartment that you're living in, your workplace, the community that you're living in. It could be the bed that you lie on. It could be the neighborhood that you're in. If you are in a space that you think it's limiting, it's stopping you from being who you are, then please consider letting it go. Baggage number 5 that you need to let go. Let go of your children. This is something very emotional. We have very bad feelings when we just think about it because our children, they are not our properties. They belong to the world. As we parent our children, We want them one day to stand on their feet, to be independent, to take their own decisions, to have their own families, to manage their own relationships, and to create their own jobs or be successful in life. By letting them go, we literally give them the permission, set them up to acquire these values. We can't transmit the values to them. They learn it through experiences in life. Let me tell you, when I left my kids, my daughter was barely 12 years old and my son was 14. My son had just been diagnosed diabetic the year before, and my daughter was having some challenges at school. So we had to change the school. This is the time where every normal parent will say, my kids need me. I should be close to them. I should support them. Something magical happened. My kids learned the lessons of life and they grew. Today, my 16-year-old daughter is doing a paid internship. She's earning her own money and she is managing her life. And I'm sure if I had stayed next to her, she wouldn't have acquired those abilities, those values, that courage, and those valuable experiences that allowed her to manage her life today. We talk each time that she wants to talk to me, and I make myself available, but I don't run after her. She is just so amazing. If you have challenges letting go of your children, drop me a comment below or inbox me. Tell me exactly where you stand, and I will give you some of the tips that I use. I mean, there's no guarantee that it will work for you, but it's something that can really aspire you to finding your own solutions on how to let your children go. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about my son. My son was diabetic and he had put on a lot of weight. I left them with their dad and I had all kinds of worries, but what I refused to have was bad feelings. I refused to feel guilty. I knew I had to let them go. There are so many rituals that I did to really give myself the permission to let them go. Mind you, my son took care of his diabetes. Today, he's an expert when it comes to diabetes. He manages his diabetes like nothing else. I have no clue what it is all about, but he manages it. He is subscribed into a fitness center and he goes to the fitness center 2 hours every day, come what may. And when we were living together, I will literally beg him to go out for 10 minutes. He would turn around the block and come back and say, "Done, are you happy?" But today, nothing will stop him from going to the fitness center. And the biggest of all things is that he passed his matrix, even though when I left, he was struggling with his education, booked a hip-hop class, and he moved out of that apartment that he was in with his dad. When he turned 18, he is working, paying his own rent. He just registered at the university where he is studying. I mean, so much has happened in the life of this young man. And this not thanks to me, but thanks to his own endeavors. He walked his own journey and he found his own solutions to his challenges. And this is something that I can never take away from him. Add to that is the fact that we all learn to love each other, to be passionate about each other, to be committed to each other, but not to be attached. And that's the magic, not to be attached. We are not attached to each other. And this non-attachment really liberates us and allowed us to go our ways, to explore things, and to become who we want to be, to assume the consequences for our actions. And I think that's the best setup that I could ever give my children. To crown it all, I don't have to always remind my kids that I didn't have to go away. I didn't have to find myself. I didn't have to step into my purpose. I didn't have to move to Africa because of them. We're all free of that. There is no guilt. They do their thing, I do my thing. When we meet, we celebrate each other. And that's the greatest gift that came with me, learning to let go of my children. If there is anyone that you need to let go and you don't know how to do it, because there are quite a lot of other people that I had to let go, friends and family and more. If you want me to share more, leave me a comment below and I will be very glad to give you the tips and hopefully it could inspire you. That was long. The number 6 habit or baggage that I will really encourage you to let go: self-destructive feelings. I did a video how to identify self-sabotage. In that video, I listed in different forms of self-sabotage that we practice every day. And some of them are feelings like blame, guilt, anxiety, fear, self-doubt, their feeling of not being good enough. These are self-destructive feelings that we carry and nurture in ourselves. We give them so much space in us. We allow them to rent space. They don't even pay rent. And they're so destructive. We carry them with us all the time. And we wonder why we get sick, why we get depressed, and why we don't have the energy, the courage, and the motivation to do the things that we should be doing, to focus on designing the life that we want to have. We wonder why we are not happy. We wonder why we become cynical and why we become bitter in life, do me and yourself a favor. Make a list of all those destructive feelings, those negative feelings that you carry in you, and make the decision to let them go. I developed some rituals that allowed me to let all those things go. And if you're interested in knowing some of those rituals, drop me a comment below or inbox me directly. I'm also happy to give you some of them one-on-one. All you need to do is inbox me or leave a comment below, and I will be more than happy to share with you. Listen, this concept transformed my life literally. I'm not saying I'm at the end of my transformational journey. I am still very much into it. The difference between the beginning and now is that I understand the concept and I know what works and I see it working for me. And I am ready to share that with you. So if you're ready, I'm all yours. And I promise you, I will hold back no experience and no lessons learned that could help you quantum leap into the future that you want to have. My name is B.Achaleke. You are still in the GloBUNTU Think Plus Do Equal B Transformational Masterclass 2020. And this video was all about the 6 baggages that you may consider releasing, letting go as we continue in this masterclass. If you are still as excited as I am, I'll see you in the next class. You may change someone's life by just sharing this video with them. And I thank you very much in advance for doing that. I will see you in the next session.